Remember guys, I am sponsored by Button Bash Gaming. Be sure to use promo code TENEC127 for 5% off all Button Bash Gaming products. Enjoy the video. Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is TENEC127 and welcome to my first impressions video of the game World of Final Fantasy for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita. The footage in this video you guys are seeing is of the PlayStation 4 version. We're just going to have some gameplay, some cutscene goodies, all kinds of stuff like that. I'm just going to talk here a little bit about the game, how I felt about it, what I really think of it, as a game total, how it works a little bit and stuff like that. Warning and big disclaimer up here now, the game does have a multiplayer capability in some way. I personally don't know anything, and I'm not sharing any details about that in this video, so if you guys are looking for multiplayer videos, I would suggest, looking into Square Enix and stuff like that, because unfortunately, they don't give any type of information about the multiplayer features whatsoever in this little dungeon demo. And just so you guys know, this demo is free right now for anyone in the PlayStation Store on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita, so guys, feel free to try out the game. But the only thing I do know about multiplayer is the multiplayer is cross-platform between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. So, PS4 players can play with Vita players can play with PS4 players, etc., etc., etc. You guys get the drift. But anyway, guys, enough of that stuff. Let's talk about the game in general. Now, I have to say, this is probably one of the most impressive RPGs I have played on this generation. And that's right, I'm saying that just based off of this beta. You know why? Because it is simple. Simple, turn-based RPG mechanic gameplay. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When I look at this game and I play it, I get a fair blend, and just hear me out, I get a fair mixture of Final Fantasy 13, Pokemon, Kingdom Hearts, and Final Fantasy 10. It takes elements of, like these kinds of games and stuff like that and blends it all into, one thing. Like, as you guys can see, the battle system, if you it looks similar to how it used to work in Final Fantasy X. I don't know if you guys have played Final Fantasy X, but with the moving heads on the side with the little gauge to show you who's going to attack next and all that stuff. It just steals little elements from each of these games. It's not like every single one of these games. I'm not saying that, but it does borrow core elements that made those games unique, and it took the good features from them. Like you can switch the combat menu to the basic one that you're used to, like classic turn-based Final Fantasy games. Or you can use the one from Final Fantasy games as advanced as Lightning Returns. However you prefer to do it. Now it's based off of two main characters. Unfortunately, I don't know the names of either of these characters because the demo actually refers to them as Stack A and Stack B. So therefore, I took them and gave them my own names. If you guys actually know the names of these two characters in the game, feel free to comment them below, and I apologize, if it's something obvious and my newbiness is just giving me a blank right now, but I really have no idea what the name of these two characters are. I have no clue, never seen them before. But then again, I haven't played every Final Fantasy game ever made, so I honestly might just be, missing some obvious information. My apologies for that. But it's simple, turn-based roleplay, and I found that to be an awesome thing. Classic good Final Fantasy soundtrack. Now let's talk about the monsters, the stacking, the Pokemon aspect of it. So there's a thing called stacking, which is basically a mechanic where you can capture these the monsters on the field. You get something similar that kind of looks like a Pokeball in a way. And what you do is you weaken the monster, just like in Pokemon, capture it, and you add that monster to you, and it gives your character additional stats. Now, not only can you do that, but you can also simply take the character, unstack the monster from you. I'm sorry, didn't mean to say character, but you can unstack the monster from you and have them fight alongside you in battle as well. But keep in mind, when you do that, it'll remove from your stats because these monsters actually attribute to your character. So the more monsters you stack on top of you, plus your own level growth, the stronger your main character becomes. And there's two modes for the characters. There's their regular human-looking mode, and then there's their chibi mode. And when you put them in the chibi mode, and the only reason I'm calling them that is because that's the best way I can refer to them. I don't know the actual name of the mode, but when you put them in that mode, they use different monsters and characters differently. Like they'll actually, ride around on them. Like they'll sit on, like summon creatures like Behemoth, Ifrit, and stuff like that. And every Final Fantasy monster in here is from previous games. They're all compatible to be used as stacks and things like that. It is a really awesome thing and a great and wonderful concept. You guys have to honestly just play it for yourself. The demo consists of just doing one big dungeon area. You get a pretty challenging boss at the end, so I do suggest grinding, getting a feel for the game first, before you fight her. I'm not going to say who the boss is or put that kind of spoiler in here. However, I do have a video going up on that boss either later. It should be before, after this video, either later on the same day or possibly the next day. I think I'll just go ahead and upload both videos side by side. But yeah, so you catch monsters, they bind to your character. So in a sense, you can kind of say that the monsters work like materia in a way. They just give your characters bonuses and stuff like that. But you get all kinds of things from abilities, stat bonuses, and and they level up with you as the monsters level up. You gain levels as well. It's a really cool concept. And not to mention, the best part, the absolute best part, is it takes characters from every Final Fantasy game. Even the Warrior of Light from Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn is in this game. So I saw Cloud, I saw Squall. If you pre-order the game, you get Sephiroth. There's so many different things, and they're all used as like summons and stuff. Like Tidus is actually one of my summons. He'll throw his sword into the enemy and throw a griff ball down and it'll explode and stuff. It's a really cool, creative Final Fantasy game, and it just has that that kiddie Kingdom Hearts look to it, but at the same time an in-depth Final Fantasy storyline. It's a really wonderful demo. Anyone who's a fan of Final Fantasy in general, I would honestly recommend giving this game a shot, because or at least a demo. Play it for yourself and check it out, because it is really good. This is right now, in all honesty, this is one of the most impressive yet simple RPGs I have played in this console generation. And there's only two games I have that opinion of, and that is this and I Am Setsuna. But anyway, guys, if y'all enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. It's your boy Tnek127, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace out, guys.
Why did you have to? Why?
Let me get it like